My name is Monique Macklin. I am known in the industry as the Pink Power CEO. And what I do is I work with people who average about $50,000 or more annually who are looking to begin their wealth building journey, where I teach them how to make, manage, and multiply money.
And I'm the Prophetic Financier, Al Mills, and I specialize in helping ordinary people enhance their socioeconomics, which actually creates more income, more time, and more location freedom so that they can live their best life the righteous way. Welcome to the call.
Welcome to the call. So we were talking about when it comes to building wealth, right? A lot of people have misconceived notions on what that is, what that looks like. Really unrealistic notions, I guess, right?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, it could be realistic and unrealistic, but it's all based on, as we've been building on previous conversation, your mindset, or I should say, your mind enhancement. Because once it's set, it's in motion. So building it up to a point where you can produce is a key thing.
Where you can produce the numbers that you're looking to produce. Is that what you mean, or the outcome?
Just the outcome that you're ever desiring. You can never reach a destination that you don't first see in your mind.
Right. So if someone is saying, I want to earn $3 million in 24 months, maybe they've seen that in their mind, right?
Well, they may have seen it in their mind, but the next question becomes, once your mind is open to it, you need to learn a skill set that is comparable to your thought process or your vision. Because see, dreams don't get you wealthy, right? Vision does.
Right.
That's why we always say in the community, stop pursuing passion. Pursuing passion don't make you profitable. But if you have a vision and that vision is able to help other individuals, and it's a mass amount of individuals, you can definitely attain your monetary goals.
Okay. So if they have the vision, well, what if they have the vision, they have the mindset, and they just have not had the opportunity or the, just something, it's like they have it, but it's some ingredient that's missing.
Okay, and that ingredient is the specialized knowledge or skill. For example, if you're accustomed, right, to generating $50,000 on your job, and your whole life you've been subconditioned to exchanging your time for a wage, and that wage was around $50,000. Okay, there's a cybernetic system in your brain that will process that. It's going to keep you set at $50,000. It's like a wealth thermostat. And if you try to go above 50,000, the cybernetics is going to cool you off and keep you at 50,000. This is why people often enough sometimes self-destruct or self-sabotage, never getting to that desired income because they never unraveled or unlearned that old way of thinking and doing.
Okay. So when you've been, I guess I'm playing devil's advocate or angel's advocate in this in this situation, because we've seen it's not impossible that people have gone from zero to hero, and that's not the norm, but it's not something that's never happened, right? Because we've seen that happen. People go from a regular job and then they, create $100,000 or $1 million in a year or something like that, or more.
Okay,
right?
so here's an example. There's an example. A Kobe Bryant and a LeBron James. Both went from high school to the NBA and became mega superstars. That means it's possible, but the probability statistically of anyone doing that is 1 in 5 million. But yet, every year, little boys in the schoolyard, little girl for that matter, and they're believing that they're going to make it to the league when the numbers don't support that. They're more likely to be struck by lightning than to make the league out of high school. But yet people still are dreaming that.
True.
The same as in business. Because there's a light, there is a rags to riches story that someone went from the pit to the palace. Yes,
Right.
it's possible, but it's highly improbable. And we have to begin to understand statistics, right? So what we talked about yesterday in the community is that I think what a person should do, this is my personal opinion of being coached by billionaires and learning these principles, I think we need to set attainable goals, because until you can get small victories, if you're looking for the home run or the lottery ticket, most likely you're not going to get it and you're going to get discouraged. You're going to stay in your current position. So why not start with first, can I just get to the 1%? If I can just say, let me be amongst the 1%ers and say that I'm doing better than 99% of the rest of America, then from there you can have those big, hairy, bodacious goals.
Okay. All right. So when someone is coming to us, say I'm doing a strategy session and somebody's saying, because of course, anything I have a conversation with on any potential family member joining the community or coming to us for assistance, I'm going to have this dialogue with you as well, right? So someone comes and I go through our method, and they say something like I just said, they're earning 60, 70,000 a year, and they have this big dream or goal to get to $2, $3, $4, $5 million in the next 2 or 3 years.
So let's use a number. So let's just use 2 million, and they're at 60,000. That means they're $2,040,000 short. That's the gap, correct?
2 yeah,
2 million,
2,040,000.
Correct, 2,040,000. And so there's the gap. So my first question would be
1.4, sorry.
1.4, excuse me, at 1.4.
Yeah.
My first question would be, what do you think is preventing you? What are the 3 obstacles that you think that are preventing you from actualizing that 1,040,000?
What is I just haven't had a big, break. I have everything lined up that I need to do. And I just, I need some working capital. I need some money to take it over the edge.
Okay. And so at this moment,
Because, that's what people say, right?
And my next question would be, okay, so do you have a plan and a process that you can effectuate that would create that money? Has that been thought out? Do you have it and made it plain and wrote it on the tablets of your heart and also put it on paper so that who can read it can run with it? Have you done that?
I've written down exactly what I plan to do, what I'm planning on charging, what my costs are, what I'm going to charge the consumer. But no, I haven't executed yet. But I know that once I'm able to execute, when I get this loan, then I'll be able to do it.
So why would money be attracted to you if you don't have a specificity plan? What would make an investor, a bank, want to invest in someone whose track record has only been $60,000 and you don't have a team or a specific game plan to get there? Better yet, who are you going to serve? Who do you serve?
As far as the consumer or my
Correct.
marketplace,
Yes. Who do you serve?
Well, my demographics are people between the ages of 20 and 45. And
what problem do they have? Perfect. What problem do they have?
Well, this is a health product, a health. I'm going to say juicing because I know that was the issue. So I'm going to say I'm offering a specific juice that's going to help cleanse the body, give the body energy. And it's not like any other product on the market right now. I've already tested it. People love it. I've tested it with all my family and friends. Everybody loves it. And they keep telling me this is what I need to do.
So let's make sure I'm clear. So your test market has been how many hundreds of thousands of people? You said your family. What is the size of your family?
I mean, it's only like 25 people.
So 25 people determined that this is something that can help the masses. So you see it right away. I'm just demonstrating and having a clarity conversation with them is that their test base is not even large enough.
What I'm doing is we're role playing at this time. Just to give you all clarity, we're role playing, but these are the types of conversations that we get when people come to us asking for money, for working capital, right? So we actually have access to help them get access to working capital, but your whatever is your product or project, it just has to make sense,
Right. It
right?
has to have a demand. That's one of the
Yeah,
reasons why 9 out of 10 businesses fail or entrepreneurs fail is that they don't have sufficient market segmentation. They
yeah,
did not do market research. See, marketing is not posting ads on IG, FB, and all these places. It's about getting a customer response system in place where you ask people questions about what they want. And based on the numbers, you can then go forth and create a product, service, or experience that will help them. It's not just I'm going to form an LLC, I'm going to get this personal credit together, and I'm going to get 250,000 and start a business.
right, right,
This is
right.
why we see it all the time. People call me all the time. Oh my, I got this money, my credit's jammed up, I need more money. No, your problem was never capital, your problem was your mind and your proximity.
And
You were not
your preparedness, you're not
you were not
prepared.
around. Success is a team sport. And if you're
Yeah,
trying to go solo, you want to be a solopreneur, you're gonna go fast, but you're not gonna go far.
correct. Exactly.
And these are the lessons that I've learned over the years.
Right. So a lot of people are out here, they're coming up with these new concepts, or they think it's new, because really it's not
Nothing's new
anything.
under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun.
Exactly. So people think they have these bright ideas and they're working, regular jobs, 9 to 5 jobs or whatever. And they think, all I need to do is get this idea some traction. And they come to us and they have these conversations with us and they want us to help them gain access to working capital. Can we do it? Of course we can. But if it doesn't make sense and you haven't really thought this process out fully, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere with us. And it's definitely not going to go anywhere with the traditional banks because we're more lenient.
Right. Well, I think, and the other aspect too is that we come from a conscious perspective, is that if we know you're going to run into a brick wall, I'm not going to see a fellow man, a brethren, a sister, and run into a brick wall just for me to get 10% of the funding that I've gotten them. I've reached a social consciousness level where that just doesn't make sense to me because it's a karmic event that we're all going to have to face. That's my personal principle. I think you share the same sentiment. But what we are saying is we're looking to help a person reach their goals, provide them with the proper leadership and access and proximity, and we can profit together. You win, I win. You win, I lose, you lose. And it's a better system than someone just selling you on a dream, because that's what the whole system is about in this matrix, right? It's selling people the dream, the American dream, which ends up being a nightmare without proper education, without proper proximity.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, let's even talk about when you think about people on Shark Tank, right? Some of them have come, because this is a lot of times what the situation is, right? People come on Shark Tank, they are being asked specific numbers for specific reasons, right?
Correct. Yes.
And if they don't have the answer, the sharks are not willing to invest in that.
That is correct. The first question they ask you is what is your revenue and what is your margin?
Right.
And how much skin do you have in the game?
That's true too.
So people who now, just for a context, for someone to even get qualified to Shark Tank, they did that due diligence already. Because at the end of the day, Shark Tank is still about entertainment. So they'll bring some really foolish business owners on there just to bring the comedy and to create the drama. And then there are some who really have a decent product that they could probably make a deal. So I don't think the
Exactly.
producers haven't handpicked the people that they want to be televised, because they do.
Okay, that makes sense. But when they come there, they're asked specific questions, and even if this product has been out before, like the Ring doorbell, no one had ever seen or heard of that before, right? And that has now blown up worldwide. And he
Absolutely.
started on Shark Tank, and they denied him.
But you know why they denied him? He wasn't prepared in his presentation to show a person the vision. See, as a founder, and we talk about this a lot. This is a gym. As a founder, you found vision in solving a problem for the masses. And so your primary responsibility as a founder is to become a professional at sharing your vision to a multitude of people. And when you become a pro at telling your story and sharing your principles, then you become proficient and you'll have provision. So if you're a pro at telling your story, you'll get the vision and you have provision, which is the capital necessary. Most folks cannot tell you their storyline.
This is true.
Cannot share with you where they're going and how they're going to get there and the contingencies that they have in place if things don't work out. People just think that money itself or capital, because the money is your mind. I keep saying this over and over, right? That money is nothing more than the energy of your mind. What you're looking for is a unit of exchange to be the workhorse to get you to where you want to be, but without having clarity in the mind, you're not going anywhere.
That's true. So, what is your biggest frustration when people come to you and they're not prepared?
Not being prepared. Because, everyone's time is valuable, right? We're here to empower people. Like you said, we're here to create plans, processes, and pathways to help people get to where they want to be. That's one of our civic give backs, but also we're business people as well. And we want to, we're like, I call myself a more of a strategic angel investor, where I'm going to provide mentorship and partnership together, right? But you have to convince me or get me to see your vision and let me dial into it. And if I'm dialed into your vision, then I'll move heaven and earth to help you get there, because I'm gonna consult for equity. There's no shame in my game. It has to be a win-win scenario.
And
Right?
as you often say, because some people they want the whole pie, right? And when they're not seeing that, trying to have the whole pie is not getting them anywhere. So when you see something like Shark Tank and they say, I want 20% or 40% of your equity, people are like, oh, I'll give you, 9%. That's not going to move the needle for people who are coming there with what you need. If money is stopping you from going to the next level, you have to be willing to say, I'm ready to give up a piece of my pie so that I can get to the next level. And as Al often says, he would rather have a piece of a small piece of an elephant than what'd you say? 10% of an elephant than 100% of an ant.
That is correct.
Right?
See, less is more.
Yeah.
Be a part of a giant, a conglomerate, as opposed to a smaller part. And in the private equity space, we call that a roll-up. And those are conversations that we'll have in the community. But this is where we combine a multitude of companies that are small and roll them into one big giant company and create a larger valuation. So here's my gem for today, listeners. Starting a company doesn't make sense. And if you do have an existing company, the best way to grow it is not find new customers, is go out and buy a subsidized company that you can add to your balance sheet, and you just doubled or tripled your revenue by buying more flow. See, these are the rules that they're not teaching on the internet.
No, they're not.
They want you to continue buying their marketing service so that they can be your social media manager. I'm tired. I'll be honest with you. I've always said that I was going to be silent, but enough is enough. That was the title of this whole conversation, right? Stop the, you know what?
Stop the BS.
Stop the BS, and let's be about something, right? And so I'm just really flustered and frustrated that I see people have great intentions, but they're being misguided by the multitude of multimillionaires that are supposedly on the internet.
Supposedly. And let's even go down that little rabbit hole for a second. So most people don't earn $100,000, right? So it's very difficult for us to believe that so many people on the internet are earning millions, right?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, is it possible? Let's go back to
Of course.
is it possible? Yes. And how is it possible? when you get in front of a success thirsty audience who has never had any inner insight on how things really work, and someone who looks like them, agents planted, to come and give you, you make decisions based on because someone resembles you or has a certain colloquialism in how they speak, and you relate to them, that, and they show you a few trinkets and a few toys and things of that nature, that creates validity, and then they're selling you a course.
Yep.
Or they're selling you a product. They're not offering you partnership.
No, they're not.
They're offering you to buy their course. So guess what? They did the math. They understand market segmentation. You know what? All I need is to get 3,000 people to buy my product and spend $9.97. I'll make $3 million.
Yep. That's it.
That's called customer acquisition. But then here's the sad part. They don't know how to create customer ascension or customer client retention where they can retain and keep them. That's why they have to keep marketing to find the next op.
Exactly.
Because the person who's already spent the 3,000 already got that euphoria. They've already got that dopamine effect already. So now they got to find somebody else who's in that optimism, that lack of knowledge optimism, where they just believe that if I can just get this one thing, I'm gonna make $1 million too.
Exactly.
And they get the next 3,000 people. And so now they can actually show I made $3 million, but it wasn't done with real business. It was done with exciting and enticing the social thirsty.
Exactly. So when you see the jets and they're flying on jets and they're in fancy cars and they're doing all of these things on these wonderful trips, all of that is an illusion.
It's called lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
They're promoting lifestyle to you because everyone, let's be frank, everyone in life is looking for happiness, lifestyle, freedom, right? Yeah. And making more money. That's a given. And that's why we're having these conversations. But there is a process to qualify for it.
It is.
It's everyone's divine right to be prosperous according to the Creator, right? Correct. But you have to understand, and overstand those principles. You have to first be introduced to said principles, because creation happens twice.
Right.
It happens metaphysically, then physically. But what the world is doing, and I hate to sound like I'm preaching, but I'm just giving you the dynamic behind this. Most folks believe that it's physical to mental, and it is not.
Right. And most people don't know what metaphysical means, so you might have to explain that.
Metaphysical, that means in the ethers, in your consciousness, where divine energy and consciousness dwells. You can call it whichever name you wish, but it means the same thing, because that's another dynamic that they do. They keep you tripped up based on language.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why the language has to be simplified, right? Because most people are not thinking at that level. This is why they're able to get duped so easily. So that's why I said it's when people explain, when it's being explained to people like they're a 5-year-old, then it makes sense, because if the words are too big, we're going to lose them, right? So the reason why they're able to capture these people so easily is because they make these videos and they
sensationalize the situation.
And they make it, they hone in on what they want. Yes, they want fancy cars. They want big houses. They want to be able to fly privately on jets. They want to be able to, eat fancy dinners and not have to worry about bills and taking care of their family and things of that nature, right? But if we're talking above their grade level, or just because you went to college doesn't mean you understand everything. Because most people don't. You just learn how to memorize some stuff to pass some tests to get out of school. Let's be real. If you're not a doctor or a lawyer, a CPA or something big like that, you went to school for literature or whatever the basic stuff was. Liberal arts or something. Like, stop. Like, I have 4 degrees. You got 4 degrees in what?
4 degrees of separation is about all you have.
And if you're not realizing, most people who get their degrees, especially in today's time, by the time you get your degree, is obsolete because technology is moving too fast for you to keep up.
Every
So,
90 days to 6 months, technology increases and changes. So what are you saying? You're in a 4-year
right.
degree, and yet technology and information is being modified every 90 days to 6 months. You're behind the eight ball coming out.
And but that's where everybody is getting tripped up. So that's why I think this is why it's easy for these gurus or influencers or whoever to play in people's faces, is because they come down to their level. They show you where I came from and where I'm at, especially if they're in the melanated community. Let's not, or
Right.
you'll find some people who will are not in our community who will find people to market to those people. You call them agents, I guess, to do that, to do the work for them.
And again, we're not here saying that we're not calling people scammers. We're not saying that at all. We're just pulling back the curtain to show you that there's a system of how this works in becoming an internet influencer,
Yeah.
a content creator. Content creation is just to keep all the algorithms are designed to keep you on the platform for as long as possible. It's not about you learning how to do business and how to really enhance yourself. It's just a bunch of content creators selling products, services, books, tapes, and events just to have you part with your money, right? Because here's a fact. I mean, let's look at the reality of the thing. When's the last time you seen a bona fide billionaire showing their private jet with their private family, personal family in their household on a jet?
Exactly. You don't.
Privacy is one of the most sought after commodities when you're wealthy.
Yep.
When's the last time you've seen, okay, let's just go to someone who's also rich and famous and now extremely wealthy. 50 Cent. When's the last time you seen 50 Cent show that he's sitting on a jet?
You haven't.
But you watch his TV shows and you see he's a prominent movie and sitcom producer, but you don't see that anymore. When he was a rapper, he was an entertainer. He transitioned from entertainment to business. When's the last time you've seen Rihanna showing her yachts or her jets, and she's a billionaire? When she was when she was a singer in front of the camera, in front of the mic, she had that lifestyle that was part of marketing and branding. But where do you see her now? Let me ask the question. When's the last time anyone ever seen the Fenty brand's advertisement?
My text message almost every day, but that's about it.
But you don't see it constantly on social media. You don't
No.
see it on these scenarios. But yet she became a billionaire. Why? She learned the principles too. Someone pulled her to the side and said, this is how real wealth is accumulated.
Yeah.
Wealthy folks will offer you the opportunity to prosper with them, not buy products and services from them.
This
So
is
when
true.
you think of the Warren Buffetts and the Bill Gates and them, they want you to, if you like what they're doing, buy the stock in my company, which basically means they showed you their vision and you in turn invested in their vision to be a shareholder, and you prosper from their expertise in the form of a dividend or equity appreciation. And if you get your money up to a certain degree, you can become a major shareholder, and then you could have a say or a vote in a board meeting. But prior to that, if you're happy with the products that we're buying, you could be a consumer and you buy them. And if you want to make money from the products that a lot of consumers want to buy from us, then invest with us. Then that's saying, come and spend 4 weekends with me, spend a weekend with me on how to do this. That's just not how wealth is created. But what we're doing is we're turning that upside down on its head and saying, listen, we have access, we have proximity, we're doing business, we're doing things, for the right person who really wants to change their life and change the results that they're getting. You've always been doing it this way. You can always return back to that, but try something different. Where
Yeah,
we prosper
something.
together, where we win and lose together.
Right.
Not, well, I got your $5,000, you know what, have at it, do what you do, you know what? Oh, well, you didn't listen to what I said, that's why you didn't be successful. That's what you hear the coach of the gurus talk about.
That's
Well,
true.
you didn't follow everything to the step, to the letter. So that's why you didn't do it. As opposed to, you know what, get indoctrinated first, change the way you see things, begin to take specific action, we call it, and you begin to take action on the things that you learn applicationally, and then we begin to grow together. That's our equation.
Yeah. Very simple. It's not something, this is not like a microwave way to millions, right? This is not what we're doing. We want to show you, it's like when we talk about me doing, because I do credit, right? So the reason why I keep saying people come back as repeat offenders is because they never learned anything. So what he proposes is that we teach you everything, that you're a part of the process, including a part of the process when it comes to your credit, when it comes to your gaining access to capital, when it comes to buying the businesses or the real estate properties. You need to learn this, because if you learn it, then you'll be able to do it for yourself.
It's called teaching you how to fish. I don't want to give you the fish. We don't want to give you a fish, because giving you the fish, what we're doing is we're pimping you, because then you have to always rely on us to give you the fish. Mm-hmm. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to want to teach you how to fish. There should be an honor and a loyal system that, you know what, someone taught me the ropes and mentored and walked with me. You know something, for that, I have a lifelong friend and partner, and we'll eat together forever. Then just he gave me a fish, and anytime I need a fish, I'm going to go to them and pay for the fish. No, this is not the fish market. We provide you the ocean and teaching you how to cast a line in the ocean so that you can feed your family and your posterity forever.
And the other thing is that when you align yourself with us, we have access to the capital, right? So when you have created a good relationship with us and you learn how to bring the projects to us properly, then we can say, yes, we can go in on this with you. When you don't have the money, most people don't have, they don't have the capital, they don't have the collateral or the cash. So this is why we teach you how to leverage credit, but most people don't have the credit either. But if your deal is making sense, we could still make a deal work. That's really it. It's called common sense underwriting. If the deal makes sense in money, then we can help you. And again, it's good to have 10% of an elephant than 100% of an ant, or 100% of nothing.
I was going to say that's even worse. So, and we have to get out of the thinking of asking how much does it cost.
Right.
You should start asking, how much will it earn me or make me? Mm-hmm. And how much more time can it give me back than I'm having to be applying time to get where I want to be? See, we have to change the question.
What does it cost to me to not do it?
That's the other part. And that for sure.
Mm-hmm. What about losing day by day? Because we're going into 2025, and I promise you, because I do financial assessments all the time, we're going into 2025. And most people are still reeling from 2020. They're still trying to play catch up from 2020, from the pandemic. And we have to figure out a way to get you caught up, and then so that you can start thriving instead of always trying to just survive.
But you know what? I understand that, it's tough. People they just need to come out of their current situation. And we're very sensitive to that. Mm-hmm. But at some point, do you want someone who's just going to pat you on the back and tell you it's going to be all right and tell you what you want to hear just to make you feel good? Or do you really want some true, authentic, tough love that's going to help shake you out of that old paradigm so that you can see life clearly? It really becomes a decision.
It does.
We're not just, do you really want someone to entertain your mint?
Right.
Or you want someone who's really going to hold you by the hand, allow you to shadow them because you paid it forward. You invested in yourself for a better life. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Because we're in digital atrophy right now. There's more content available that the people can consume. People are inundated, I would say, with content. There's just too much content coming at you on a nanosecond basis. How often do you look into your DM? You swipe left. You go to your email. Someone's in your box trying to sell you something.
Yeah, on your timeline. On your
timeline. And I'm asking that. I mean, I want to fact check that, please. If you can contradict me, I'm willing to say I made a mistake. But How many people are in your inbox saying, I'd like you to partner with me? Or are they there saying, let me teach you?
Right. Darren says, "What's in your wallet is the problem." What do you mean by that? What's in your wallet or what's not in your wallet? Meaning, what are you saying exactly, Darren? Um,
And my definition of wallet, again, is your mind, is your consciousness. You can only produce from the essence of consciousness and thought that you have.
oh, he said the advertising is what. So he's saying the advertising is always just trying to see what's in your wallet so you can pay for whatever they're
Oh, yeah,
selling.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
What is your budget? How much can you afford to pay for marketing? And we can show you the ratios on that. Now, don't get me wrong. Those algorithms do work, right? But here's a fact. I want to ask everyone a question. Before there was a social media or the World Wide Web, which everyone knows the World Wide Web started in 1982. It wasn't too long ago.
No.
But there were billion-dollar companies pre-1982. How did they do it? And it wasn't just late-night infomercials.
True.
They understood endorsement marketing. That means this. If you care for one person, help them get a solution that they desire, they would share it with someone else. It's called endorsement marketing. It's the most powerful marketing on the planet. But you see, everybody's been indoctrinated now that it has to be digitally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The power of one. The power of one. Help one person. Let's help one person.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
And
even
watch the
if
multiple effect happen.
right. Well, that's how MLMs work, right?
Well, they understand the premise of leverage, yes. But then the problem with network marketing, when I say, okay, let me be very clear, multi-level marketing, MLM, not network marketing, because network marketing is having a power and the possibilities of networking with others and collaborating. Multi-level marketing is when people are being compensated from one sale of a product that goes down multiple levels deep. It has been studied and shown. Harvard did a study. I've experienced it personally. The products often enough become overpriced because there's so many people that have to be paid in the food chain.
Correct.
Because there are a lot of people between the consumer and the manufacturer before it gets to them, so they have to make up all that cost to get there, even though they put it under the guise of, well, we're alleviating, having to pay marketing so we can deliver it to you direct. But they don't realize the space between the creator of it and the consumer, there's a lot of people in between.
A lot of people.
So when you look at that distance creates more cost. That's why you always hear.
That's why they was recruiting.
Correct.
So they can make up for the cost of the product, so that they can get your cost to register or whatever.
Correct.
That's the only reason why I didn't like network marketing, because I don't want to be an HR rep. I'm here for the product or the service that you have. I don't want to be a recruiter.
Well, look at it from this perspective. Let's look at it from the boardroom or the corner boy, right? Even the corner boy is trying to eliminate the middleman and get to the plug.
This is true.
Right? The same as in corporate America. Why do we need to deal with a wholesaler or a jobber if we can get to the manufacturer? So now put that back into MLM. That's going opposite to that premise. That means we have to make sure we're going through a channel of people, a broker chain. How many of you have done real estate deals where someone brings a real estate deal to you and there's 3 people involved? And by the time you get the price to get the deal, it's this markup. It's like, whoa, how much is this going to cost me now? Or in business funding, people start adding on top of it, and next you know it went from a 5% cost to 15%, 20%. Everybody keeps adding their 5% or 2% on top of it. It's just ridiculous. We had to learn to start dealing direct.
Exactly. Well, that's the issue, though, because especially in this space with the business funding and stuff like that, when you don't know who the plug is, you just know that there are several people in between when you hear what that person who's talking to you tells you what the fee is. So when they say it's 15%, you know it's at least two other people that he is associated with that got to get paid. So that's how, having done this for so many years, or somebody says 20%, I'm like, yeah, I can't do business with you because I can't go to my client now and say I'm charging 25% for me to get you $100,000. That's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. So I had to learn how to cut out all of these people so that I am the direct person. And that's what exactly what happened. So because it kept coming to me where people always are just trying to add a little 5 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5% in there, nobody wants to pay $25,000 for $100,000. Well, but some people will though.
That's beyond loan sharking money.
That right.
That's beyond loan sharking.
All they are thinking is I'll still have 75,000, but you really don't, because the fees, the business funding fees money is not cheap. Let me just say that money is not cheap. And because it might start at 8%, trust and believe you're paying probably about 16%. So that's not cheap money. And if you don't have a way to flip that money to pay for that debt each month, you're going to be causing a whole lot of problems for yourself.
And let's be very clear. I know that to be true because if you're using your job's income to qualify for it, which is very linear, then I know you don't know how to flip money because you're earning money now, not flipping money now. So the chance of you flipping the money that you just received is very probable that's not going to happen.
No.
So we have to have true, transparent conversations. Truth and transparency. Truth and transparency is the most important thing.
Most people think when they come to me that I'm the answer to them getting access to money, which I probably am. But if you don't know what you're doing, then it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for you. It's going to be a problem.
But we had this conversation. We went back and forth a couple of times.
Of course.
We talked about it, and it's true. If someone is just coming to you for X, you just give them what they ask for.
I do. That's usually what will happen.
Right? But when you get to certain levels where that transaction doesn't impact your life, where that's not the money you need to pay the cable bill,
right?
And you're looking to build prosperity and wealth, your narrative changes because you begin to see this person's going to injure themselves.
Financially injure themselves.
And I was a part of that financial injury, and I understand we reap what we sow. We live in a very karmic. See, when you get tied in with the principles and you begin to function from a spiritual or faith-based construct,
right,
understanding how the omniverse works, then you would now want to run from that to say, no, I'm not trying to reap that karma. Because I'm aware that they're going to hurt themselves, and I put them there.
And they don't have any real resolution on how they're going to pay that debt back. Like Al said, if you're paying that money using your personal income, not your business income, because you don't have a business yet.
But they call it business funding. You don't have a business.
Really. You really don't have if you haven't sold anything to even see if anybody wants to buy from you, you really don't have a business. So
and if you're working if you're self-employed, you don't own a business. You are self-employed. You own your own job.
Correct. Exactly.
See, so
Robert Kiyosaki has gone through this.
Exactly. So, but again, he only goes but so far, right?
True.
Everything he says is based on real estate.
Yes.
Exactly. And again, real estate has made the most millionaires. I attest to that. But I can also attest to the fact that business has made the most billionaires. Again, we see some of our favorite icons, Rihanna, and all these others become billionaires from business. Tyler Perry didn't become a billionaire from acting as Medea on a theater stage.
Nope.
It wasn't until he went into owning his own film and production company. Oprah Winfrey didn't become a billionaire being a sitcom or being a journalist or a talk show host. It wasn't until she became Harpo Studios and began creating the content and delivering the content, as opposed to just engaging in conversation in front of a camera.
They did the work to get there, right? So Medea was the tool he used to get there. Being a talk show host or a broadcast journalist is what Oprah used to get there. but then they turned it into business, a real business, and they had a team, and then their team helps them to build what they have. I mean, I still think Tyler Perry need to hire some writers, but he has everything else working. So I get, but still, even though he hasn't hired writers, we still keep watching. He still keeps getting more and more deals. He has something coming out in 2 days on Netflix. Another project. So people are still investing in him and paying him and utilizing him. We complain about the writing, but we're still plugged in. That's what I'm saying.
So let's take a quick look at that. And this is again, stop the BS, right? Stop living those delusional lifestyles and what people are telling you the best way to do. Start learning and looking at success, because success leaves clues. And we just shared with you a multitude of people that are prominent in your eye, and look what they had to do. So the first lesson of all of this, let's just recap. The first lesson is you got to follow one course until successful. Oprah was a talk show host and became the best at it. And from that, she was able to launch into something else. See, you first have to be good at something, and then take your resources and let your money, your energy, your units of exchange make more money. Not you have 16 different jobs.
Correct.
That's the key here. So we have to begin to understand that.
Exactly.
Is that our time is up?
No, this is my mother calling on my other phone.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I said, Lord have mercy. All right.
So we have to, it's just a whole different mindset. And I think Darren said something about, if you don't borrow, then you don't own. So there's a thing we are proponents of when it comes to debt. And now there's good debt and there's bad debt. There's no billionaire out here who does not have debt. They have a whole lot of debt. So we want to learn how to get debt that actually pays us instead of us always having to pay for said debt. So that's where real estate comes in. That's where business comes in. That's why we always talk about those two things, real estate and business, because those are the two things that help make millionaires and billionaires. And those are the things that can help pay for themselves.
And just to be clarity, right? Debt, when you use positive leverage debt to buy assets that pay you passively, you are the controller and not the owner, because you don't truly own it until you satisfy all of the debt, but you become a master at control, because that's really the way that we came into this vortex. We came in this vortex with nothing, and we're going to leave with nothing. All the pharaohs of the past and all the kings of the past have proven that you can't put in your tomb all of your prized possessions and servants and think that you're going to transition with them, because you're not. And so you're just here for a time. So it's just about use and possession, having the highest use and possession of something, and then learn how to transition it to someone else in your lineage is the key. That's the game of the gods.
Generational.
That's the game of the gods. Ownership doesn't make sense. Controllership, trusteeship does. The power of the pen is mightier than the hammer. Just know that.
No, that's right. So what we again teach people how to do is to acquire things that actually produce cash flow regularly, so that it not only pays you, but it also pays for itself. So if there are, you have the loan on the real estate project, you're able to pay for that, plus put some money in your own pocket.
There's a question that's in the chat I think you may want to address. This is, what if my inventory that is free and clear? Well, that's called equity. When it's free and clear, that's called equity. But it becomes iniquity really quickly because if you didn't know, anything that's free and clear that hasn't come off your shelves or out of your warehouse and into a consumer's hand is being suffered or being victimized to something called inflation and opportunity cost. So you're losing you're having a negative arbitrary effect by just having free and clear situations. So you want to leverage that equity as quickly as possible. And again, I'm not giving financial, tax, or legal advice. This is just education and entertainment purposes, sharing with family members here. But it's either you have equity or you're going to be in iniquity. So there's a way to avoid being in iniquity and learn how to leverage equity.
Correct. And that's a conversation that we can have. if you would like to learn how to do that, because money just sitting, if it's real estate, let's say, and it's free and clear and it's just sitting there, it's monopoly money, to be honest with you.
Because equity doesn't earn any interest.
It
It's
doesn't.
being suffered. It's being victimized by inflation. So every day, every year, it's losing 6% in its purchasing power. So you're thinking that you have all this equity, and they make you feel good, give you that dopamine feeling. But in financial intelligence, you got a hole in your bucket.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause that
But
money
again,
could be,
that money should be working for you, creating
yeah,
more babies, creating more situations and opportunities and choices, right?
exactly.
But this is what we're teaching in the community. Again, you guys got to dial in, tap in. You got to tap in.
So you definitely have to tap in. So what I do is I have conversations with whomever wants to have the conversation, have that adult conversation where we have a strategy session. You tell me where you are, where you're looking to go, and then we put a plan, a process, and a pathway in place for you to get there. So that is how our processes work. In my bio, in the link in my bio, or going to Credit Lady Gems, GEMS, creditladygems.com, it'll take you to my link where you can click on to schedule for a strategy session. That's where we have a Zoom call and I ask specific questions. You give me specific answers, and that's when I go back into the lab with Al and we put something in place that is specific for you, because your goal is not going to be like someone else's goal. So we have to put something customized directly for you. And we work in real estate and business. We do notes. It's a whole lot of things that we can do. There's a whole lot of ways that you can make money where you don't have to start a brand new business and try and figure out if somebody's going to buy from you.
Absolutely. And to Brother Darren, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Yes, we see that you're doing very well in the manufacturing industry. We would love to have a conversation with you. You can contact the Pink Power CEO. There may be some synergistic opportunities. So again, this is what this call is about. In this space, we collaborate as opposed to competing. So please reach out to the Pink Power CEO. And let's collaborate. Let's talk and see how we can create a synergistic relationship. Thank you for your participation.
Yes, thank you so much. So yeah, just click the link in my bio, or just go to that site, or pinkpowerceo.com and schedule an appointment that way also. But yeah, so this whole conversation was, really just trying to shed light on the nonsense that people have, the preconceived notions that they have in their head when it comes to building wealth, right? We want to make sure that people understand what that process looks like and what it doesn't look like, right? So some people do get lucky and they can hit it big, strike it rich, and that'll happen. But we all know that's not the majority of people. So we have to make sure we put a good plan in place for ourselves so that we can go and attain those goals that we're looking to attain, not just for ourselves, but for our heirs, for our children, for whoever we want to, make sure is okay once we leave this earth, right? We want to make sure that it's at least 2 or 3 generations, three generations deep, right? So that they're okay, and not only that they're okay, but they also know what to do. So your family has to learn and understand how to carry on once you're not here. So you teach them that. So you have to learn those principles yourself so that you can pass it on to them. And that's what we teach in the community. Right, Mr. Mills?
That is true.
Okay.
And again, as we said, it's the freedom of choice. There's no compellment here. We're just looking for those who want to build. And we do appreciate you, Brother Darren. So no, thank you. We appreciate it. It's no problem. No hard feelings on that. We wish you nothing but success in your business.
Oh, yeah. So if no one has any additional questions, we just really wanted to come today and bring that to the floor. But as always, like I said, you can always schedule what I call a strategy session, which is really a discovery call where we're just hashing it out, learning exactly what your goals and plans are so we can help you devise a plan to get there. And that's it.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Any closing remarks?
No, all I would say is I'm hoping and trusting and believing that that individuals are getting value from these conversations.
Yeah.
We take time out of our schedules to be able to just share some fundamental oversight into how to make that pivot. Right
Right.
now is a time to start thinking about that, and it's here just to enlighten and uplift. So it's just my honor
Exactly.
and privilege to do that. But at the end of the day, we keep moving on, keep moving forward, keep pressing on.
Exactly. So, so he said no hard feelings whatsoever. Actually, interesting. But yeah, I mean, we come on here and our mission. This whole recording is going to be on my platform on YouTube at Pink Power CEO and also on the Prophetic Financier. I got to send you yesterday's. The Prophetic Financiers. So either platform you can just listen to this again or the previous recordings. But our mission with these calls is really to debunk a lot of the misinformation and disinformation that is so loud on the internet. Like one of the things we often say is an LLC is not a business, but what you've been hearing for so many years is that just go get an LLC, a bank account, and go get some funding. And that's not how this works.
Right,
So we
right.
want to, so it's like misconceptions like that you hear so often. And when I say to people that an LLC is not a business, or I put my recording out or a recording out, somebody will be like, what are you talking about? Well, I got
It's,
funding and all this, but you got funding. Your business didn't get funding.
you didn't separate yourself from the business. But that
Correct.
comes back to our premise, right? There's only three players in commerce. It's either you're a consumer, a producer, or a banker. But here's something that holds true. Consumers come to the bank to get credit to buy products and services from a producer, and a producer comes to the bank to get funding to create more services and products to sell to consumers. So if you had to choose what team to be on, I think you would want to choose the initial, which is being a banker, as opposed to a consumer and a producer.
Yeah.
And that was a decision that I made 20 plus years ago, is to take wear the banker's cap as opposed to the consumer or the producer, because those two parties will always need funding or some kind of capital structure to effectuate their businesses. And that's why the last time you checked, when you're walking down in any major city in the United States or anywhere in the world, whose names are on the names of whose names are on those buildings? Most of the time, they're going to be banks and insurance companies.
This is true. So true. And then when we think about all of the big companies out there, like the Googles and all of them, when you brought that to my attention on Google, on all the businesses that they're acquiring, I'm thinking they're acquiring more businesses like Google. They're not. So I thought that was mighty interesting. I'm like, I thought they would just stay in their own space, if that makes sense, right? But as I learned, that's not the case. They're acquiring a whole lot of things, and you can really just Google on Google exactly what businesses do they own or they're acquiring and things of that nature, because it's all public information,
This is true.
right?
You deal with private equity, you understand private equity, everybody's raising capital. They're either going to do it through an equity offering or a debt offering, but it's going to all come back down to someone is structuring that debt for them to get money to do the things that they need to do.
Correct. He said, look at Mint Mobile. I think I saw that on TikTok. Is that the like $10 or $20 a month plan or something like that? Isn't it? I think I saw it on TikTok. Um, but I'm quite sure that's owned by T-Mobile or somebody. Right. It's like they'll break down all of these little companies and stuff like that to give you cheaper service, but it's
But they're still
well, yeah.
subcontracting their service from a larger. There's only but two major giants that own the fiber optics and the Wi-Fi towers, and everyone else is subcontracting through there, and these are all subsidiaries.
Oh, he said it's celebrity owned, like many celebrities. That would be interesting.
No, that is correct. But they're still subscribing and they're using the technology from a larger company.
Oh yeah, like T-Mobile or AT&T or something. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Interesting. But yeah, that's part of this whole thing, and they're collaborating, I'm sure, and they're not trying to do it on their own. That's what we're also teaching, right?
Correct.
to not do this on your own.
That's a collaborative effort,
That's a
right?
collaborative effort.
A
So
licensing agreement. Yeah, that's how it works.
exactly.
So this has been great. Been a great
Okay.
conversation.
It has been. It really has been. So I thank everybody for taking the time to join us on this particular call. Again, the full conversation is going to be on YouTube, and that's a link in my bio as well. Or go to Pink Power CEO on YouTube, or the Prophetic Financier, which is Al Mills, the Prophetic Financier on YouTube, and probably within an hour or so, 90 minutes, it'll be live on there, and that way you can listen to the whole conversation. Because again, this conversation is really about debunking all of the misconceptions that people have when they reach out to us and they're asking for money, or they're asking for help with their new business idea, or they're looking to get rich or wealthy or whatever it is they're looking to do. And they want to do it from today and be done and be rich within 12 months. So we want to kind of shed light on how this process actually works. And again, we can have the conversation if your mission is to start building wealth, but doing it the right way.
Oh yeah, but proximity is power, right? It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And the only way they'll know you is if you're in the room. So the key is
True.
getting into the right rooms, and something that requires you to have an introduction to someone who can open other doors. That's what his networking is all about. I've learned to move away from referral business to introductions many years ago, and it's changed the access to my life. So it's all about getting that proper introduction to someone else who can open a door for you or create a collaborative event. Because
Exactly.
you never have too many strategic partners.
No, you never can. Again, it's better to have a little bit of something than a whole lot of nothing. Um, and if you have to come together collaboratively and split that pie up, then that's what you have. Then it's necessary for the bigger good in the whole process.
Absolutely.
So
Listen,
yeah.
so long as Hip National Bank is working, is happy, I always say my name doesn't have to be in the marquee. I like to be the one in the back of the room, not in the front of the room.
Exactly. And
So,
and a lot of people are not like that, because I remember I told you about a person who was like he needed funding for something, and I was telling him about business acquisition as opposed to him starting this whole business he was looking to do. And he said, "Well, that's not going to have my name on it." He said, "It's not going to have." I said, I said, "Well, the checks I have your name on it. That's what matters. That's what really matters.
exactly.
You worried about the wrong thing." So,
But
so
as
yeah.
you graduate, right? But as you graduate, there's information process for each level, right? There's no one level is better than the other, but as you aspire into certain quadrants, the functions are different.
Correct.
The rules change, the
Correct.
etiquette changes. Being a self-employed person is different than someone overseeing a multinational corporation
And that's another
that's
thing.
publicly traded or privately held. The roles change. For example, everyone wants to be the CEO of their company, right?
Yeah.
That's a hired gun. In my world, we call that a jockey. But when you're the chairman of the board or a board member, you hire a jockey to run your companies. They're your operator.
Correct.
And as a board member, my responsibility is to my shareholders who invested in my vision, whereas my CEO's job is to care for my customers. See the difference in the role? The CEO worries about operations of the company and caring for the customers. The board and the chairman and the co-chairs worry about share value, and making sure their investors are happy, producing a better return. That's how that's different.
Exactly. So yeah. Again, let's have the conversation for those who want to raise their hand and participate in that. At least, if nothing else, you'll know where you can go and what direction you can
Absolutely.
go, right?
Absolutely, sure.
Whether you choose to partner with us or not, again, you'll at least have a plan in place, and you can decide which way to go from there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, it's been a great conversation as always. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And I hope everyone has a blessed and prosperous day, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Absolutely. Be
All
well.
right. You too. Bye bye.